So I'm doing a part two of this wrestling video of my WWE top 15 match of candidates because I don't know what in the world's been going on with my laptop lately, but this is gonna be the second part of that. I really would have thought by now that I would be doing second parts, but this laptop is driving me crazy. Anyway, so like I was talking about the men's Royal Rumble match. It was a really incredible match. You saw the return of the Hurricane. We hadn't seen Hurricane Shane Helms in quite some time. We really hadn't seen him since about 2009, early 2010. That was the last time we really seen him. And then he disappeared, and we saw the return of Hurricane, which he got eliminated by John Cena. You know, we saw the return of Rey Mysterio, which he got a loud pop when he came, and he looked in incredible shape. But if you watch Lucha Underground, you would know that anyway, because in Lucha Underground, he was in really good shape. So, you know, we just saw a lot of new faces and returns in this Rumble match, and it was really, really refreshing, especially when Nakamura eliminated John Cena, and then from there, he eliminated Roman Reigns lastly to win the whole thing. And so this was really a major thing for Nakamura, which we thought was going to lead to him winning at WrestleMania, but similar to what I said about Asuka, that did not happen as we expected. So that's pretty much the only waste I would say with both of these Royal Rumble matches. That's really the thing that I have always hated with the Rumble matches. When you have someone win the Royal Rumble but then lose at WrestleMania, I just never understood that. That's like the same thing as having someone win the Money in the Bank just to fail cashing it in. That's just something I've never been a fan of. And in this case, I was not a fan of the fact that they had them both win the Royal Rumble just to lose at WrestleMania, just for Austin Street to end at WrestleMania, and just for Shinsuke to lose his chance of winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. It was crazy, but so there you go with that. So at number 5, we have the WWE Greatest Royal Rumble match. Now, some people may be a little bit surprised when I put this match on here. Number 1, this was an incredible performance by Daniel Bryan. He actually outlasted. Alright, it's like I said, cool. He actually outlasted Rey Mysterio, I believe, for being the longest person to last in a Royal Rumble match. And that wasn't the only record that was set. Braun Strowman had also beat Roman Reigns' record of having the most eliminations in the Rumble match. And one of the things I didn't get about Braun Strowman is that Braun Strowman was being pushed to the moon, only for him to never win the Universal title as we thought he was going to do at SummerSlam. Similar to what I said about Joe, but the difference with Braun, he was actually being pushed. It wasn't like he was just losing matches. Like the guy, he won the Greatest Royal Rumble, which was the biggest Royal Rumble match in history because it was over 50 men. He won that match. He won the Money in the Bank. We nearly thought that he was going to cash in and successfully take the belt from Roman or Lesnar, whoever would have won. And it didn't happen. So it almost seemed like a waste. And this match here was no different. It's like, what was the purpose of having him win this Greatest Royal Rumble if it weren't going to really mean anything? I mean, because he outlasted so many guys in this match. He threw Shane from the top rope through a table through the announce table during this match, which is crazy. He threw Shane all the way through the announce table in this match. He last eliminated Big Cass to actually win the Greatest Royal Rumble match because Big Cass had eliminated Daniel Bryan. But Daniel Bryan literally became the longest person to last in the Royal Rumble match. And you could just see the beatings and the amount of pain he was taking in this match with the way his chest looked. You could just see the red stains within his chest that he had in this match, which was just absolutely incredibly crazy. Um, but this was another excellent showing. I think the Greatest Royal Rumble, the actual match, was incredible. Now, some guys might be asking, well, why didn't I include the ladder match that Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and The Miz had for the IC title? Which that was, don't get me wrong, that was an incredible match at the Greatest Royal Rumble. And the way that Seth Rollins retained was incredible because he climbed all the way from the top rope out of nowhere and grabbed the belt before Finn Balor could get his hands on it. But the reason I didn't include that match is the same reason I didn't include Seth versus Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam. It's the same reason I didn't include Seth versus The Miz at Backlash. Simply because I wanted to stay away from mentioning too much of the same person. So for that, I stayed away from a lot of matches. But like I said, don't get me wrong. If I do another video, most of those matches probably be included. But definitely, I say the Greatest Royal Rumble, the actual match was really good. Even though the win really didn't do anything for Braun Strowman, but it's just the fact that I believe he had 13 eliminations, which is more than Roman, because Roman had like 12. Which the record was previously set by Kane, who had like 11. Roman had like 12. Braun had like 13 or 14 eliminations. So it was really an excellent showing. Like I said, the way he eliminated Shane was crazy. He freaking threw this man through the announce table. Where he eliminated Shane. So it was such excellent showing. That he did to Shane. So there you go with that. Number 4, you have Seth Rollins, which is about the third time you hear Seth Rollins' name. I said, really try to kind of stay away from Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose versus Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler for the Raw Tag Team titles. This is one of the best tag team matches that you'll ever see. Absolutely incredible by both guys. Absolutely incredible by both teams. The story here was mostly Seth Rollins, but we've seen a lot from Dolph. We've seen a lot from Drew. We've seen some things from Dean here and there. And I really like the way that this match ended, where Drew went for the Claymore, came for the Claymore out of nowhere on Seth. And Dolph went for the pin for them to retain. This was an excellent tag team match at Hell in a Cell. This was definitely amazing by both teams. Like I said, it's really the redundancy as to why I didn't include a lot of Seth matches, but this was definitely on top. This was a really incredible match that they had. At Hell in a Cell, one of the best tag team matches I've ever seen on the main roster, because that's what this video is all about, the main roster. This is part 2, just to clarify that this is the main roster, not speaking about NXT or 205 Live. This is the main roster. One of the best tag team matches I've seen on the main roster. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely phenomenal. So this match, hands down, was absolutely one of the greatest tag team matches I've ever seen. So at number 3, we got Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship at Money in the Bank. Now, the reason I put this so high on the list is because out of all the Shinsuke matches he had with AJ, this match was actually my favorite because it actually had a finish. Like a lot of their matches after WrestleMania did not have a clean finish. Their match at Backlash, I spoke about that earlier with the honorable mentions. If you look at part 1 of this video, that didn't have a clean finish. Their match that they had in Saudi Arabia before Backlash. That didn't have a clean finish. In fact, that match I think that match actually ended in a double countout. So that match was a double countout, and then Backlash was both matches you can pretty much say ended in a double countout. Or I think either ended in a double countout or AJ got himself disqualified. But I believe it ended. I think he got disqualified though because the Backlash match they had was no disqualification. It just happened to end with them both being counted out. But this match was actually, I think AJ actually got himself disqualified or he got counted out outside the ring or something like that. So both of these matches did not have a clean finish, but the match here at Money in the Bank actually did. This was the last man standing match. This put an end to their feud. They had a total of 5 matches on pay-per-view. And out of the 5, I think it couldn't have ended any better with this match. I actually watched this whole entire match. I definitely would say that outside of Backlash, which I believe was good in terms of honorable mentions, outside of Backlash, this match was really something special. And I was really pleased with the way that they ended this match. We saw a lot of good performance by both guys. AJ actually ended the match by kicking Shinsuke in the balls and then going for the phenomenal forearm, putting him through the table and winning from 10 like that. So there you go with that. Just an excellent match between both guys. Out of the 4 matches they had, this was definitely my favorite. And number 2, I actually put a tie with this one because it just did that damn good, man. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte, both at Hell in a Cell and Evolution. I thought both matches they had were absolutely incredible. The match they had at Hell in a Cell, where Becky actually won the belt from Charlotte, was one of the best women matches I've ever seen, especially on the main roster for SmackDown. It just shows you how much good chemistry that 2 real-life friends could have. Absolutely amazing by both women here. And it really put Becky under the map as more fans started to cheer for Becky. And they just gave up on having her play as a heel and just called her as an anti-babyface because they just knew that wasn't going to work. So this has been the breakout year for Becky Lynch, without a shadow of a doubt. Before this year, Becky was really good, but she really came out there this year. She really came out there. This was her year. This was definitely her year. She took her a while to really get going, but this was definitely her year. The heel turn worked to her favor, even though they gave up on calling her a heel. Pretty much after this match or Evolution, they gave up on that. But she stepped up her game big time. And this was just an incredible showing by both women. So many counters, the spears with Charlotte, figure 8, the disarmer, the counter of the spear to the pin with Becky pinned her to win the title. Truly one of the best women matches you'll ever see. And their match Evolution was no different. Their last woman standing match, which technically was the second time that they did that, but it was the first time they did it on the main roster. It's Nikki Cross and Asuka did that in NXT. But because of the fact this is the first time they did it on the main roster, that's why they consider it the first time ever women's last woman standing match. And this was incredible. Between the two, we saw Becky Lynch go through a leg drop on Charlotte through the announce table. We saw Charlotte put Becky through the announce table. We saw so many incredible spots in this match. And it ended off with Becky Lynch sort of going for a power bomb on Charlotte through a table. and retained their belt, which I was really glad because I did not want to see Charlotte win the belt back. And that match